Well, before the reports of tonight's strike in the Bekaa Valley, I spoke to Herzog, a member of the Israeli security cabinet which took the decision to go in. I asked him if he anticipated the operation would take this long when it had begun.
We didn't evaluate the exact span of time, but we knew that we are facing a very fierce enemy, which is basically aided and supported in ammunition and the most sophisticated weaponry by Iran and operating like an army. So we knew it will take time.
And if someone were to say to you that this campaign has been incompetently managed, what would you say?
We disagree with it. It's a very difficult campaign. It's very complicated. It embodies and entails various types of warfare. You see, in today's warfare, things are different than what we knew in the past. Once you used to see a battalion versus a battalion with certain rules of the game, and today you see a regular army confronting a terrorist organization. This is something that you've seen also as the British forces have seen in Afghanistan or in Iraq, whereby you have to operate in civilian territory, and it's extremely complicated and difficult, especially when the civilian territory is the mere backbone of the military capability. Launchers in the houses, and of course lots of bunkers, tunnels between houses, communication centers and the like.
How long have you told the Americans or anyone else who asks you need to complete this operation?
It is assumed that we would need another 10 days or so, and we all realize that there is a time limit ticking with the convening of the Security Council on Friday. It depends a lot of what will be cooked up. After all, you know, we need to see how do we exit from this crisis, and we need to exit with a new arrangement in Lebanon, whereby Lebanon will employ its sovereignty, where Lebanon will be able to act freely, and whereby we will enjoy together a tranquil border which, with enabling us and them to protect against foreign elements such as Hezbollah.
But we've just heard from a representative of Hezbollah that in his judgment, your attack has actually increased support for his organization.
This is their spin, and it can happen here and there, naturally. It happens, but I must tell you that when you look from a bird's eye view on Lebanese politics, you identify clearly that the Hezbollah is totally secluded. We also know, and we've heard interviews of Lebanese ministers, leading members of the cabinet on BBC as well as other channels. The Hezbollah is totally secluded in the Arab world, and except for support from Syria and Iran, today is secluded by all the relevant members in the international community. He hasn't achieved anything in this campaign.
And the full airstrikes start again tonight?
We are taking a multitude of operations around the region whereby we are trying to move out the Hezbollah from the area that will serve as the buffer that the international multinational force should come in and be deployed there. This is our aim. The whole idea is, of course, to make sure that Hezbollah is not capable of sending hundreds of missiles every day on Israel's northern territory, on the northern front of Israel, as well, of course, that we are taking efforts to make sure that his strategic capability, namely long-range missiles, could not be operated. On this, we are focusing heavily.
Mr. Herzog, thank you. Well, let's go now to Beirut and join our correspondent there, Robin Denslowe. Robin, what are you able to tell us?
Well, it's the middle of the night in Beirut, 1:45. The city is very jittery. Everyone expecting an end to this sort of ceasefire we've had for the last 2 days. Many soldiers out on the streets and planes you can be heard overhead. And in the middle of this, we're just hearing these reports from Baalbek out in the Bekaa Valley to the east of the city towards Syria. What we know so far is that there's been enormous helicopter activity over Baalbek. Reports at the moment are very confused as to whether troops have actually landed. Some people say the helicopters have landed. Other people say they're just hovering over the city. There are some reports of attacks on the city, including an attack on the hospital, but it does seem that some very major operation in the area is taking place. Now, this, of course, is the lowland area on the way to Syria. The Syrian road has already been bombed in the last few days. That historically has been the home for a whole series of groups, from Palestinian groups to Kurdish groups, and where Hezbollah are believed to have many of their bases. One of the MPs, or deputies as they call them, from the Lebanese parliament, from the Bekaa Valley, who represents Hezbollah, is Hussain, who talked to me about the military situation.
I think the Israeli army will try to reach any target in any distance, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, if they can. For us, we are determined to fight bravely and very hardly against Israeli invasion.
So if Israel escalates the fighting, you will do the same thing? You will intensify the fighting?
We are in the state of defense. We are not in state of aggression.
But Israel, of course, say that you're aggressors, you're firing rockets into their territory.
In what territories the war, it is now in our territories.
How do the Lebanese government regard your attacks on Israel?
Yesterday, the Prime Minister said and salute our resistance. And today, the presidents of the confession in Lebanon, the Shiite, Sunnite, Maronite, Druze, all salute our resistance. And the Prime Minister yesterday, before yesterday, thanks the resistance.
So the Prime Minister approves of what you're doing?
Everybody in Lebanon approve what we do now.
Robin, what's the humanitarian situation there?
Well, even before this latest attack, it was described to me as disastrous, as desperately serious. There are between 700,000 and 900,000 Lebanese who've lost their homes. Some have fled to Syria, some are here in Beirut, who fled from the south of Beirut. Others are just wandering around the country. The World Food Programme doesn't know exactly where they are. They were supposed to send out 3 convoys from Beirut to the south tonight. Only one has been able to get through today because they couldn't get security clearance from the Israelis. Then there's the problem of oil. There's only a week's worth of oil and petrol left in the country. There's a hope that 2 tankers will bring in oil tomorrow, but again, they need security clearance from the Israelis. We don't know if they're going to get it.
Robin, thank you.